Welcome back to Sports Outpost. Today we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite sport, baseball. Yeah, you know you love baseball. I love baseball. And today we're going to talk about baseball here on Sports Outpost. That was a joke, by the way. I know the majority of y'all don't like baseball, but you're going to like this baseball, all right? Because this is Sports Outpost and we're talking different. And today we're going to be doing our mid-season review for the 2022 MLB season. It's at the halfway point. The second half of the season is just getting going as of today. The All-Star break was just a couple days ago, and we're going to get into some conversations talking about what we think about has happened this far, what we think is going to happen the rest of the way, who's going to win the World Series. So when it comes to my team, the Texas Rangers, I think that they are an improved baseball team that shows a lot of potential. I'm happy to say that they're no longer just in pure rebuild mode to where they're not just bottom barrel of the league looking like straight trash every day. They actually put out a presentable product now, a marketable team, and a team that I've noticed that the people in the Dallas community have gotten behind because we've gone to games on Tuesday nights and there's 34,000 people in the stands, and it was not like that last year. It has not been like that for a while. So there's some fun things going on in Texas Ranger baseball, but a lot of concerning things as well. We come into the halfway point at 41-49, 7.5 games out of the final wild card spot, and like 17.5 games out of the AL West lead behind the Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners, who are just going berserk, by the way. Seattle Mariners swept the Texas Rangers in a 4-game series to end the first half of the 2022 season for both of those teams, and the Mariners became the first team in MLB history to win 14 straight games going into an All-Star break. We lost them by 1 in 2 out of those 4 games, and that now has made the Rangers 5-21 in one-run games this season, which is their main problem. They haven't been able to close teams out. When games go to extra innings, you can pretty much guarantee that the Rangers are going to lose. They're not going to come through. They're not going to get the hits in extra innings when you need it. And they're losing these really close, tight games. I think it's mainly because I think our bullpen is soft. I think our mentality in there is soft. Sure, the numbers and statistics are improved for our pitching, but I don't think our pitching is all that great still. I think our lineup is phenomenal, and I think we have a lot of young prospects, especially pitching-wise, that are going to come through and really improve this team as of next year and the year after that. But just think of the 2022 Rangers as the foundation for hopefully a 2023, 2024, 2025 Rangers team that's consistently making the playoffs and maybe can make a deep playoff run. We got to get these prospects up pitching-wise. We got to improve on the back end of the bullpen, and we got to be not afraid to take risk and maybe move even a couple prospects to get maybe a Juan Soto or a Jacob deGrom. They haven't called up Cole Winn. I believe he's still at Round Rock, AAA. And I know for a fact Leiter's still playing for the Rough Riders in AA. And just right over there in Frisco. And Kamar Rocker's probably going to be joining him shortly. And those 3 guys are really exciting. And honestly, I wish they would just pull one of them up just to see what happens. But I understand with baseball, it's a process. They take their time with these things. And we probably won't see Cole Winn until next year. And we probably won't see Jack Leiter until 2024, realistically. But you never know.
Why do you say that? Why?
Because they, the Rangers, and specifically the Rangers, but I mean a lot of teams too, they like to take their time with these guys. They like to make them feel confident and good. They like to let them go through the minor leagues, dominate, feel good, look good, be good. So then whenever they go to the pros, they feel confident and ready that they can take on anyone that steps into the batter's box. And I think even more so with pitchers and hitters, man, they really let these guys marinate, man, in the minor leagues. And we probably won't see Jack Leiter or Cole Winn or Kamar Rocker especially for a while. But when those guys come up, I think they will be certified pros, and I think they will be guys that will push this team and this organization into the future and into that tier of team that has a shot at competing for more than just a wild card, a team that could win a division and potentially make a run to a ALCS or World Series. 5 teams that have a chance at the 2022 World Series. So in my opinion, I think the number 1 team on that list has to be the New York Yankees. They just had the most successful first half of a season in the history of their franchise. And that's saying a lot because this is a franchise that has 27 World Series. They have the most championships of any team in any pro sport, and they are arguably having their most successful regular season right now. Anthony Rizzo has been an absolute stud. What a trade acquisition by them getting him. Not to mention they have 2 former Rangers on their team that are just having career years. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at shortstop for them, and Jose Trevino, who both of them, they went and Jose plays catcher, and they went and got both of these guys for their defense, and they've also added some really nice offensive elements to their game. And Jose Trevino, I believe, was an AL All-Star catcher this year, and he was never close to that as a Texas Ranger. So there's something going on in New York this year. And along with that, Aaron Judge is probably going to be American League MVP. He definitely is at the halfway point for me anyway. He leads the league in homers. He's hitting great for average. His on-base plus slugging is really nice, and he's just been clutch. He's just came through this year, and even though there's a good chance he probably doesn't re-sign with the Yankees in the offseason, I think he might go out as a World Series champion there. Second team, I think, down the list, mainly because they're the defending champs. I think the Atlanta Braves had the second best chance. Even though they're not leading their division right now, they are the first National League wildcard team, and they are on a tear. They're 55-37. Yeah. There was a point in the season where they were 24-33. So that means since that point, they are 31-4. So they're very, very dangerous right now. They're hotter than any team still, and I feel like we all kind of just forgot about them. And it's probably going to stay that way because everyone kind of just forgets about ATL. But when playoffs come around, they'll more likely than not have a very good chance with Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson, that pitching staff led by, of course, Max Fried, Ian Anderson, those guys. They will have a legit shot at winning the whole thing again here in 2022. And then another team, third on the list, the Houston Astros, have a great shot once again, just like they do every year. Them and the team that I have fourth on my list, the LA Dodgers, both of those teams are right where they always are. They're winning games. They're, 6, 7+ games up in their division. And they both have a great shot at winning a World Series, playing against each other in the World Series, and just being in the World Series, which it seems like every year at least one of those two teams is in it, and both of them have just as good a shot if ever. Houston Astros, even though Correa moved on, they still got Altuve going. They have very, very young studs. And they got Aledmys Diaz. He's a very nice young player. So is Pena. I honestly can't remember his first name right now, but that is their shortstop that replaced Correa, and he's looking like a very, very legit Major League infielder. But, it all goes back to Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker. Those two guys are two of the best players in the league. And Yordan specifically is probably the guy that's going to come runner-up for AL MVP behind Aaron Judge. He's easily the best left-handed hitter in the game of baseball.
What about your fifth team?
And then, skip the Dodgers because fuck the Dodgers. Fifth team. I think my fifth team that I think has a real shot this year at winning the World Series, in my humble opinion, is the New York Mets. New York Mets, the only reason why they're fifth, even though they have the second best record in the National League and the third best record in the major leagues, the reason why I have them fifth behind the Dodgers, Stros, Yankees, and the Atlanta Braves, the team that they're actually leading right now in the division. New York Mets, the reason why I have them at fifth is because they're the Mets. They come up short. The Mets come up short a lot. They're the little brother to the Yankees in New York, all of that. But at the end of the day, their team is loaded. Their team is fucking loaded this year. It's finally all come together. They got Starling Marte, who looks as good as ever, even though he's starting to get into his twilight years. Francisco Lindor figured it out. He had 1 year off last year where he played really miserably his first year in New York. But now he's really coming back around and really leading that team. I think he's the perfect guy there for them at shortstop. You got guys like Jeff McNeil, who I'm pretty sure is like one of the top guys at getting on base in the major leagues, whether it's a walk, a single, he seems to always be on. They got James McCann behind the dish, who's an excellent defensive catcher. They got Eduardo Escobar at third, who can do just about anything. Eduardo Escobar is one of the most underrated third basemen in the league. Yeah. They also have Pete Alonso over at first base. I think the New York Mets are really loaded. I actually think they're going to win the National League. That is my personal opinion. I do think they will be in the World Series and lose it. But the reason why I put them at 5th is because more likely than not, they will fail me. They probably won't be in the World Series because they're the New York Mets, and they come up short a lot. And the National League's really tough. You got Atlanta, you got the Dodgers, you got the Padres, you got a number of different teams that can beat you. And especially with this new playoff format in the MLB now, where there's 3 wild card teams on each side, and there's a whole wild card round now. I just think it's going to be tougher, and I think a team like the Mets is the exact type of team that can be shocked and upset in the wild card round just because they are the Mets. But once DeGrom's healthy, once Scherzer's healthy, they have that two-headed monster back on top of a great rotation with guys like Chris Bassett. The Mets will be a serious player just as much as the Dodgers and Braves coming out of the National League this year.